Good morning, traders. Testing 1, 2. Hope you guys can hear me okay and see me okay. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your morning. Today is March 6th, 2026. The market opens in about 3 minutes. All right, let's start sharing my screen. Links are shared. Perfect. All right. So we had a lot of stuff going on today. Let me do this, do this. There we go. Whoa, don't do that. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna need another screen already. Gonna need another screen. Okay, so QQQ selling off overnight, down 1.56% from highs of 611 down to 598. So very choppy, but nothing new. I mean, this has been pretty choppy pretty much all week. Lows of 590, back up to 610, back down to 590, back up to 613, down to 602, back up to 611, now down to 599. We'll see if this begins to rally. We're going to let this pump up as much as it wants to, and then we'll just probably end up shorting it again, honestly. Bitcoin also selling off overnight from highs of course, 74,000 on March 4th to highs of 73,500 on the 5th, and selling off pretty much all night to lows of 68,655. It's now sitting at around 69,000. So it did break 70,000, which was also not only a previous resistance level in this last range, but also below the moving average itself, and is now below the moving average. So I'd love to see more selling pressure. MSTR also down from yesterday's high of 149.50. It looked like it was basically a double top. Tested resistance twice around 149.50 for a breakout to new highs again, and it couldn't get there. Now it's sold off to 133.72. It's currently sitting at 134.95, and it's down 3.5%. So MSTZ up to 1150. This would have been nice to hold my position yesterday. I sold at 1066. I sold at 1066, so that would have been another dollar per share on 300 shares. So could have woke up to a nice $300 today, but that's okay. We're not here to shoulda, coulda, woulda, or anything like that. We're just here to make some money and go from there. So let's see what happens. I do have QQQ and MSTR on my secondary screen. So if anything runs up or anything happens, we'll be able to see that here. MSTR is pushing up with the market right now. QQQ is pushing up, just pushed up to $600. So we'll see if this is a short-lived rally on Friday. Usually Fridays aren't the best as far as trading goes. You know, you could see markets sell off pretty aggressively, and today it looks like they might potentially rally a little bit here. So yeah, we're looking at possibly getting a good entry on MSTZ. Looks like it's already happening. More selling pressure. I'm going to buy 100 shares at 1130. Probably not the best thing to do, but Bitcoin's still selling off, MSTR giving back all of that little pump it just had. QQQ just kind of holding right here. And also, market is selling off because non-farm payrolls came in way lower than expected. Over 92,000 jobs being lost. Unemployment rate was expected to be 4.3%. It came in at 4.4. So it's showing that unemployment is rising. So I do want to let you guys know that. Love to see if there's an overbought reversal potential. Now I have 100 shares of MSTZ. Bitcoin is below 70,000, so we'd love to see this sell off more. If you look at it on the 4-hour time frame, you can see it broke below this moving average. It pushed up above it, thinking everything would be bullish. Now it's back below it again. So I'd love to see this begin to sell off even more. We get a crossover with the 45 EMA. We could see a lot more selling pressure. It looks like we might get it today. We might not. MSTR trying to pump up. MSTR also reported their earnings. Was it today or was it yesterday? I think MSTR reported their earnings today. MicroStrategy price target maintained with a 250. That's pretty much all I see with that. QQQ pushing up. I may have got in just a little too early on my MSTZ position here. Just a little too early. That's okay. Probably just end up scalping this thing today, honestly. And I hope you guys can hear me okay. If you're having trouble participating in our live chat, just a reminder, you do have to be subscribed to the channel and you will be able to comment in the live chat. And it is free to subscribe to the channel, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be subscribed so you can get access to the live chat. Ask questions, you know, share your call outs that you see potential in, stuff like that. MSTR trying to pump. Probably got in just a little too early here on this, as markets can rally for any reason. See if it gets rejected off of this 45 EMA. All right, MSTR struggling to make more highs. Right, MSTR looks like it's selling off. Bitcoin selling off. QQQ also going back down. Markets have no reason to recover at all. So it's not like the economy's doing better. It's really not like anything's doing better. MSTZ is above that moving average. I'd love to see it pop up to maybe 12, maybe $13 today. That'd be beautiful. Also don't want to miss this move, right? Don't want to miss out on the opportunity to add more to this position. I don't want to add so much that if it starts to fade, I can't buy at a lower price. So it's all about not being too greedy, making sure we understand the lows and the highs of the day. Now, if you keep wondering what I'm looking at over here, I'm looking at my secondary screen. At QQQ and MSTR, I have both of those up here on the secondary screen. Okay, looks like QQQ is trying to find some support. A little bit of support here. We're just going to be patient. 100 shares is not that much. Just want you guys to be aware that it's a very light position. It's about $1,100. So it's about a fourth. It's about a 20 to 25% position size. So if this does sell off, I can get out. I could buy more on the dip to bring my average down if needed. I want you guys to be aware of that. I didn't go in, you know, with 400 or 500 shares right away. I just went in really light. Man, I need some coffee. We gapped down significantly too. So we gapped down so much last night that we could see everything rally, and you know, that's what I'm thinking, right? It gapped down so much that the market could rally. Bitcoin sold off so much last night that the markets can rally. They don't have to continue to sell off. So MSTR could also pump up. Looks like maybe if it does pull back, we could get in around 1050. 1050 would be a nice little price point between 1030 and 1050, but it doesn't mean it has to, right? It'd be nice to see it pull back to around this level. We can put a, you know, daily support. Doesn't mean it by any reason is this validated. We had $9 support tested, 915 to about 930 the last few days. Now it's a little bit more higher, so we can see support around 1030. We're now also getting a resistance level for the day, which is 1150. So, you know, it could break above 1150. It can continue to get rejected, but it could also come back down, and it could sell off significantly depending on what the market does today. So, you know, we want to make sure that we are aware of that. My average share price right now is 1134. So if this does go down to 1030, that'd be literally $100 loss on a very small position, but nonetheless still quite a bit of a loss if that does happen. QQQ struggling to stay above 600. Bitcoin pushing up slightly, but MSTR, right, struggling to make a new high, struggling to make a new low right at the moment. QQQ struggling to stay above 600. You know, it has its choppiness. It's up, it's down, it's up. So we'll see if this does begin to hold. A lot of consolidation here at this level. So it is possible that this does pump. BTC, right, making lower lows. See if that continues. And then I may just get out of this and wait to re-enter. Yeah, I jumped the gun. I thought it would be a very nice area to buy for a follow through, but those breakouts never happen when I want them to, right? It tested 1151, came back down. They just never seem to happen when I want them to. It could happen, doesn't mean it has to happen right now. So everything else is pretty much selling off too. I want you guys to look at that, right? QQQ is down 1.32%. Netflix is down about 0.10%. Nvidia's down 1%. Amazon's down 1%. Apple's down almost 2%. Google's down 1%. Tesla's down 2.5%. Meta's down almost 3%. So, I mean, everything's sold off pretty good today. It looks like it's going to begin to recover. Okay, so what Bitcoin's doing real quick. Bitcoin just kind of holding. Okay, MSTR going back down to retest 45 EMA. See if we get a break below. And we're just going to get out right here. It's struggling a little bit. We could re-enter. But if it rallies, I don't want to see this thing tank, right? I'm more comfortable losing $14 and being able to recover it very quickly compared to being down $100 and trying to dig myself out of a hole. All right, looks like MSTR is struggling at this moment. And of course, right when I sell, it would begin to push. Let's see, it looks like it's going to push back up. So maybe we weren't so, that wasn't such a bad decision, right? I'd rather be down 14 than 20 or 25 or 30 or 40 or $50. A lot of consolidation right now, though. MSTR consolidating, right? It could rip. It could rip higher. Bitcoin slowly pushing up. QQQ also just kind of flat, right? We could see this begin to push up, right? Remember the 3 stages of reversal. You have the rejection period, then you have the consolidation period is what we're seeing now. And this consolidation period is either going to give us that confirmation for a reversal to the upside, or it's going to consolidate and make another leg down. But usually when there's strong consolidation, it's going to move one way or another eventually. It's not going to trade flat the whole entire day. So Curious to see what happens here. Getting rejected off the 45 EMA. We could see another leg down. Getting ready for my buy order. And we could be a little early, right? This trade plan could work, but it could also, play out in an hour, in 2-3 hours, in a day, next week, right? So, trying to be patient here. We're up $270 for the week. Now we're only up, $255 because of this $14 loss, but this is nothing, right? Another leg down. Okay, I'm gonna get right back in where I started. Again, it would have been patient to just hold where I literally was just at. Cost basis 1131. Right, I bought at 1134, sold at 1120. Wasted $1,100 in buying power just now, just because I wasn't patient. So. Could have been more patient, definitely. Definitely could have been more patient. But here we go. We're getting a break below. Oh, okay. All right. There we go. Bitcoin, another leg down, right? Really nice rejection here on the 45 EMA. MSTR curling over. Let's see if we get lower lows. And QQQ below 600 again. So we'll see if that continues to make a lower low or if it just pumps. Got my coffee for the morning. Trade your plan, not your emotion. Could have did that. Should have did that here a minute ago. Even buying more at 1112, right? Here we go. QQQ back below 600. MSTR with another leg down to 134.60. C Caperton, how you doing? Good morning. Good day to buy Amazon. Good day to buy Amazon. Yeah, nice little dip here. Little dip buy opportunity as it goes back up to 245. It is retesting the moving average, so if it can't get above the moving average and hold, then this will continue to weigh it down and it'll sell off. So it's kind of a 50-50 at the moment. Looking a little bit more bearish today though, in my opinion. Okay, QQQ trying to push still, a lot of consolidation. Bitcoin, another leg down, making a lower low. And there we go. We are in the money by a whole $2. $1. $2. Let's see if we can get a break above. MSTR back down to 133.90, 133.80. QQQ wanting to push up though. I don't like to see that. QQQ pushing up higher. Big push. Look at this. Look at that. Big green candle. BTC also trying to push. See if it's short-lived. MSTR again. Testing that support. MSTR with another big leg down. Here we go. MSTR, look at that. Another leg down for MSTR as Bitcoin begins to sell off. What I did a good job yesterday doing too was creating a stop, and as it pushed up, I'd raise my stop up higher. And if I noticed that it was a little bit too tight of a stop, I would lower my stop. Right, 1131 is my break even. So I'm at a risk-free trade right now. Well, technically I was already down to $14, so I'm not necessarily risk-free. I think I'll be more risk-free right here. 1150. But you could still have it and then play with the lows, play with the highs, buy the low, sell the high. You could add to your position. You could wait. Looks like MSTR wants to make another leg down with QQQ. We'll go ahead and get rid of this because this is not the high of the day anymore. MSTR, right? Still trying to make lower lows. Bitcoin could also sell off lower. Could also begin to recover. There we go, MSTR down to 133.50. Remember, my goal is to make $100 a day. It's going to be tough if I keep scalping this thing, right? I should just let it run. Got my stop set. QQQ struggling to go anywhere above 601 right now. Go, another leg down for Bitcoin. Love to see it. Just keep the selling pressure on. QQQ is just really choppy right now. And again, if I would have had the 200 shares, we'd already be up $20, right? If I wouldn't have sold that 100 shares at the bottom, we'd be up 20 plus the 14 I lost. We'd be up, what, $34, almost 40 bucks. So can't beat yourself up thinking like that. But it's definitely something to consider when you take your next trade. Okay, we're going to take our stop away. QQQ is selling off still. Bitcoin trying to recover but still making lower lows. And as you can see here, QQQ below 600. Just kind of real choppy right here at this level. I'd love to see it sell off more. We'll see if it happens. Meantime, MSTR is just kind of flatlining in a weird way. There we go. We could see some movement to the upside now. So my break even is 1146, I think. 1145 is my break even. We are approaching an oversold range too, so there's still room to draw, but doesn't mean it has to. Looks like MSTR is pumping. Could have took profits at 1156. Been up $10. QQQ below 600 still. Bitcoin with another leg down. So we're in a good position here, okay? But when you're shorting something that's already super sold off, you're at a higher risk of it recovering, right? It could still sell off, right? Same thing with QQQ. It's down 1.5%. Like, do you think it could be down 2%? 2.5%? It's possible, but the markets don't really sell off this aggressively without some sort of a rebound and a retest. I want you guys to understand that the last time we sold off overnight like this, we had a really nice rally. So it's possible this sells off and we could have another nice rally. So shorting comes with its own form of risk, but it's a greater form of risk when you're selling, when you're trying to get a continuation on a company that's already sold off, right? We think it could sell off more, yes. Is it more likely it could recover? Technically, yes, right? The markets can recover for any reason at any time. Trump has done a great job by pumping the markets. That's what he's good at. And all he has to do is tweet something or say something and the markets pump, right? Okay, we're going to set our stop up to 1145, which I believe was break even. Looks like it's going to break that level anyways, right about now. $11.50. We might just have to wait for a better average, to be honest, guys. We might have to wait for a better average, but I know the second I sell it, it's gonna push up. We're gonna sell right here, right? At 11.45, it's gonna sell off. We're down 65 cents compared to even the $15 from earlier, right? So not bad. We actually did a really good job managing our risk. Why? Because look at this candle here. Bitcoin pushing up slightly. MSTR with a nice green candle to the upside. QQQ pushed up. This is what I saw on the other screen. I saw it beginning to push up, and it could touch this level and sell off, right? It's still early. It's the first 30 minutes of the market being open, and you know, we're only down a few cents compared to making over $270 this week. We gave back not even $1. Okay, so I think we just need to give this a little bit more time. Again, markets can push up higher. If we believe they can, and we believe Bitcoin and everything will push up too, MSTU could be a good play. It's currently at $5. You know, if everything recovers, it could push up to, you know, $6 very easily. And you could buy a lot of shares at only $5, right? You could buy 100 shares for 500 bucks. You could buy double the shares on MSTU as you can on MSTZ, right? I could buy, um, say, 100 shares of MSTZ at around $1,100, and I could buy 200 shares of this company just above $1,000. So Bitcoin, and sometimes you get these little moves, right? You get this little move up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then a big move down. We're seeing this try to recover. If it begins to recover, then we'll let it recover as much as it wants. Go back to 70,000, retest 69,000, whatever it needs to retest. MSTR pushing, right? It's above the 45 EMA, which gives it every reason to recover. Which means MSTZ is down to 1130, right? We'd be down a whole nother 15 cents per share. So we'd be down $15 instead of 70 cents, right? And this is my style of trading. It's not for everyone, right? I could have still been holding my 1134 position originally and just letting this kind of move the way it wants to move. But there's no reason to do it, right? If direction isn't in your favor, cut your losses. When you're in doubt, cash out. Cut your losses quickly and often if it's going against you. And that's how you win in the market. Am I risking $1,000 right now? No. I kept my one lucky share just to see where direction is. And, I'm not technically risking 1,000. I was risking, say, 20 bucks. Well, what if that $20 went against me and now I'm down $40, $50, $100? Oh, I'll just add to the dip. I'll add to the dip. I'll add a little more here. And before you know it, you're down $200, $300, $400 and you're just frustrated because it never recovered. It never did what you wanted it to do. You got to remember, the markets don't care what you want. The markets are going to do whatever the markets do. Right? So by managing our risk, making sure we lose very little, I don't have any upside monetary gain right now because I don't have a position. But at the same time, I don't have any risk. And I already made $270 this week. I made $360 last week because I decided I didn't want to give back all my profits on one trade. And it could happen. I've been there. You're doing great. You're locking in $20 a day, $50 a day, $80 a day. You're doing great. You're making small wins. And then all it takes is one bad trade to where you hold and you're down $200, $300, $400. And not only did you give all your profits back that you worked so hard to make, but now you are negative money. You lost money. And that's not what I want for you guys at all. I do not want that for you. Okay, it looks like Bitcoin is getting a little bit of rejection here. QQQ also slightly getting rejected. I want to see if we get more of a leg down here, right? Because really it's just consolidating within this range. 602 was a previous support level from yesterday. So if we can get above this support level and hold, we could see it rally, right? If it gets rejected, then obviously we'll see it sell off more. And it looks like we're seeing that right now. What's Bitcoin doing? Also, markets can recover. Bitcoin could sell off or push up or sell off, right? So markets could recover, Bitcoin could sell off, and that's a whole different way to think, right? QQQ getting rejected. And again, it's right back up to where I sold. Go to chart settings, cost basis 1131. Right? I sold at 1144. It's not even above it yet. It wants to, and there it goes. So literally, I'd be right where I was, right where I started. Bought at 1131, sold at 1134, 44, made back the $15 loss. But look what would have happened if I would have bought right here. If I would have bought again at 11.44, thinking it's going to push up higher without confirmation, now I'm down a few cents again, a few dollars again. And it looks like market's recovering. So we did a good job just kind of, not really being patient, right? We tried to jump into this trade, but we did a great job by making back our $15 loss. Bitcoin still pushing higher. It's been 36 minutes, 37 minutes since market open. So yeah, I'd love to see another leg down. I'd love to see that. QQQ, look at this. We saw a big red candle. Everyone gets excited. Let's go short. And then this thing goes up and recovers, right? So that's what I'm looking at here. We need to get more of a confirmation that the market's going to continue to sell off. Bitcoin's going to continue to sell off. We're seeing that a little bit right now. We're going to get back in. 100 shares at the exact same price point I was a minute ago, right? Or where I sold at 11.44. So basically we're just kind of scalping it today, guys. But why do I see potential? Bitcoin curling over, right? Getting rejected off the 45 EMA. QQQ also with a nice big red candle here. So we'll see if this continues to sell off more. Look, all this consolidation below the 200 moving average could act as resistance, meaning that it could sell off more. And MSTR doing the same thing, right? Making a lower high, getting rejected off the 45 EMA. And at the same time, I could be completely wrong. This thing could rip right up for no reason at all. So I'd love to see another leg down. Look at Bitcoin. See? Red candle, green candle. We're going to get another red candle, or we're going to get some green candles. If this pushes above the 45 EMA, then my trade plan is invalid. It means that Bitcoin is going to begin to push up. We want to make sure Bitcoin is still continuing to sell off. And there we go. We could see another leg down. Have our stop ready. And then we just raise our stop with the market. Oh, let's do 100. Okay, and as this pushes higher, we're going to create a stop. Here we go. MSTR with another leg down. Now we're up $15 because we were patient. We waited for direction. Not every day's like this. We could have held down here. We could have been down 40, 50, 60. We could have been down $100 if we didn't cut our losses. Also, if I wanted to sold so soon, we'd be up triple that, right? Because I had at one point 300 shares. Let's see, how many times did I sell? One, two. Yeah, so we would have had an additional 200 shares. And that's okay, right? That's okay. We'd be up like $36 technically instead of 13. But either way, we're green on the day. We're adding to our $270 win for the week. Let's see if we can continue to follow this up with a nice stop. So you can do a trailing stop loss, which is what this is, trailing stop loss. You can set it to like 10, 15 cents, 20 cents. So it pushes up to 11.60. You now have an 11.40 stop loss. It pushes up to 11.80. You now have an 11.60 stop loss. And as its staircase steps up, your trailing stop loss will go up with it. What I like to do is I like to just move it up where I see fit, right? So I could go to 1140 if I want. NASDAQ is trying to find support, so I'm going to raise this to 1150. 1155. And if I get stopped out at 1155, well, then we lock in a couple of dollars. If it begins to push higher, then we raise our stop. Okay, I just hit 1160. There we go. MSTR making another leg down. You can see that right here, right? Another leg down to 133. Bitcoin just kind of hovering. So now we hit 1162. You could raise your stop up and have a super tight stop if you want, right? Making sure you don't give back anything. And here we go. We'll probably get stopped out now. And there we go. We got stopped out at 1155. So at one point we're up $15. Now we're only up $8.50. At one point we were down $15. So we had a $30 swing, right? This is a risky though, guys. I do not recommend you guys copying me because again, the markets are so oversold. Overbought and oversold levels are important to understand. When something sells off all night, it's more likely that it'll recover even halfway, a quarter of their way up from what it sold off, and then it could technically continue its sell-off. Same with MSTR. Do you think MSTR being down 4.5% is normal? Not really. It happens. But do you think that, like, this can go down another 2%, 3%, 4%? It's possible. But usually it's more likely that it has a nice little recovery. That's just how it is. That's how the market works. It pumps, it sells off. It pushes up, sells off. Pushes up, sells off. Pushes up even higher, holds, and then sells off. And then sells off. So do we get another day of selling pressure? Do we get consolidation like we saw yesterday? Or do we begin to see a pump up? Right? And that's the question that we all have to ask ourselves. And that's what's scary about shorting something that's so already shorted. Trying to make a trade happen when it doesn't have to happen. You kind of got to reverse psychology it. You know, look, now QQQ's above the support from yesterday. It's above the moving average. We could see this thing really pump higher. And that's scary if you have a position in MSTZ, because then this can sell off not only from 1150, it can sell off back to $10, back to $9. And if you have 100 shares, you're down $100 or $200 on this position. So it can be a little scary. And either way, right, we locked in money. We're at 270. Now we're at close to 280 for the week, right? We almost made $300 this week. Do I want to give back any of that money to the market? No. Can I still buy a few more shares? Yeah. Here we go. Looks like everything's going to begin pumping, right? MSTR. Kind of holding. Bitcoin, right? Pushing up. It's above that 45 EMA. So because of that 45 EMA being it being above the 45 EMA now, we can see this stair step higher, right? The same way we saw it stair step down, right? You see this? Got rejected, tried to push up, got rejected, got rejected, got rejected. Now it's above it. So now we can see this thing push up, come back down, retest, come back down, and make lower highs back up to at least where the moving average is. And then we'll have our own another set of criterias to follow when it does hit this, right? Does it get rejected off of the 200 MA? Does it get rejected and sell off? Or does it push higher and push up? But it's above that 45 EMA right now. And you could see that a lot. There could be a bull trap where everyone thinks it's going to be bullish, so they buy long, and then it ends up selling off. That's a bull trap. MSTR, see, MSTR is up to 134. MSTZ is down to 133. So if I would have held, I would have been down and in the red again. Now, I'm going to wait for MSTR to pump up as much as it wants, either to here or whatever next level there is. And then I could buy more shares at a lower price, at $11 for another pump up to 1160 or whatever the case is. QQQ, right? It's above the support level. It's above the 200-day moving average. It's above the 45 EMA, which is your first indication that it's becoming bullish. And it's making higher highs. And it's making higher lows. You guys see that? It's creating an ascending pattern. It doesn't mean it has to continue to push up, but in this instant, it gives me all the reason to say, you know what, QQQ is beginning to recover. You know, it's not as bearish anymore. It sold off aggressively last night. Now it's trying to recover some of its losses. And why would you short something? Why would you go against this when it could very easily pump up? And that's kind of my thought process behind it. This is what you guys, I'd say, pay for, but this is why you guys are here. You guys are here to hear my thought process, what's making me successful, and how you can technically replicate it to find your own success. It's not about copying me. It's about understanding what I'm doing so then you can take that information and make a better, well-educated decision on your own. You know, God forbid that I die tomorrow and these live streams stop. But as long as I'm alive, I'm going to be doing these live streams every morning. Not only for myself, but for you guys. But eventually, I want you guys to understand how to take trades on your own. We have a couple of members in our community who do a great job showing up every day, making their own trade decisions, journaling their trades, what they did right, what they did wrong. They do a great job by cutting losses and locking in profits, and they share it with our community in the Discord. They do a great job with all those things, and they all started where you started, as a beginner. Some of them came in here not knowing anything about the stock market. Some of them came in here, you know, losing, taking losses every single day, not being consistently profitable. And after watching some of these live streams, we have a guy right now who's up $1,200 in 2 months. He's working toward getting an electric charging station for his house. We have another guy who's up $300 in a week. Amazing progress. Amazing progress for a lot of our community members. The ones that show up, the ones that take it serious, are going to be ones who later on down the line are going to be making money. And Bitcoin pushing up. So we did a great job by what? Making sure we didn't get caught on this little downtrend, no matter how small it might seem. We did a great job by not holding this position. Because you hold it here and you're down $20 or $30, $40, and you're like, oh, it's going to bounce. Oh, I'm going to add more because I know it's going to bounce. And then before you know it, it's below this moving average. And then you're down 60. Then you're down 100. You're like, well, I'm already down 100. I might as well just hold it because I know it could recover. And then you're down 200. You're down 300. And before you know it, where you should have bought, you sell. And the second you sell, it begins to rally because everyone's buying down at this level. And you just suffered a huge loss. You bought where everyone sold. You sold where everyone's buying. And you missed that rally back up to sell again. Even if you held it through this area, right? Even if you did hold it, hold, and it begins to rally, you end up right back to break even. And you give yourself a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of discouragement for no reason at all. Cut your losses early, cut your losses often, and you will be better off, guys. I promise you, you'll be better off. And I'd rather make $8 when I'm supposed to be making 100 than even give back a single buck or two. And you guys got to see that. I was down like $14 right off the bat. I was patient. I identified an uptrend. I bought and sold, cut loss here, bought and sold, and that's how we were able to dig ourselves out of a $15 loss. It's not much, but when you think in your head, okay, Johnny recovered $15 today. But remember, in 5 or 10 years, I might have to be recovering a $150 loss, a $1,500 loss, because I'm trading with more money, I'm trading with more size. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. Start small, learn how to trade, learn how to identify patterns, moving averages, trends. That way you can learn now when you are trading with a small account. I'm not going to be trading with $3,000, almost $4,000 forever, right? In a few months, it's going to be much more. In a few years, it's going to be way more. And right now, we're all building and developing the skills necessary for when we do take a $150 loss, a $1,000 loss. It sounds crazy, but we'll understand, hey, I know how to recover. I know how to make more money. That's what it's all about. Not getting discouraged, not letting your emotions take over you. And it was a successful week, right? And I still have a couple hundred shares I could buy. So we're just waiting for MSTR to pump. I'm just giving you a little bit of my knowledge, what I think, and my process. And just know it's going to take time. If you're new to trading, it's going to take you time. You're not just going to be able to come into the market and expect to just throw some money in and make money because you're special. Because nothing ever bad happens to you. Right? The market is very humbling. The market will humble you every day. I still take losses. I just make sure my losses are smaller than my winners. I cut my losses often, and I use stop losses to increase my profits. Look, we're back down to moving average. Now, would I want to buy right here? Yes, but right now, no, because this can drop more below, right? If MSTR breaks this moving average, we're going to see a huge uptrend. Bitcoin's still pushing up. There's no reason to even get in to a short right now. QQQ above the moving average. So this can literally just do what it did last night and just slowly creep its way up. I call it creeping, right? It's not a significant move, but it's enough to start seeing a crazy little uptrend. And then before you know it, it starts uptrending, and it's back up to where it was yesterday. I've seen it many times, right? That's still a pretty significant move right there. One day it did it in just a couple of, in like an hour. We thought it was going to sell off, 750 to 830, huge recovery from 603 to 611. So it's definitely possible the markets can recover. I'm just going to stay out of my position for now. You know, if we get signs of it selling off, great. But right now, I'm just not seeing it. MSTR getting rejected off the moving average. I do like to see that. Bitcoin with a slight retracement, but that's all they are, right? They could be slight retracements, or they could be pretty significant sell-offs. That could have been a good little scalp, right? Buying here for a scalp, having a tight stop loss and riding it back up to 1162. I might consider it, but at the same time, you have to have a tight stop loss. You're buying at 1125 and you're cutting at 1116. I would have rather have bought at 1120 and cut at 1115, right? 5 cents. So I'd lose about $5 to make potentially $40. So I'm buying at 20. If it breaks below moving average, 11.15, I lose $5. If it pushes up to 11.62, I make $45. But QQQ is pushing higher. Bitcoin's pushing higher. So we're just going to wait and be patient. And yeah. And if we miss out on this small little move, that's okay. There's going to be more moves. This could push back up, come right back down. It pushed back up and come right back down. So we did a good job today by recovering our red day, which means we had 5, it might even be more than that, but we had 5 consecutive green days this week. 5 in a row. Last week we did a great job by making $370, but I'm pretty sure I took a loss on one of those days. I think it was a small loss nonetheless, but you know, being consistently profitable, whether you're locking in $8 or yesterday I locked in, what was it, $65? Let's go ahead and take a look real quick, and then we'll end this live stream here. Discord, learn to earn. Let's pop this up. And we're getting a lot of new members, so I'd appreciate if you guys welcome our new members. We're getting anywhere from, it looks like an average of about 3, but some days we get 5, 6 new members every single day. The 28th, we had over 10 new members in a single day. So we have a ton of new people coming in. If you're watching this for the first time and you're new to trading, I recommend you check out our Learn to Earn lesson library. This has everything you would need to know before starting your investing and trading journey. I talk about a lot of the moving averages, indicators, trend lines, identifying support and resistance, and all the things that I literally talked about today and used in my examples and to make a better decision. It's all in here, and I explain it in the Learn to Earn lesson library. But trade ideas is where I like to be. Made $87 yesterday. That's what it was. I only made 50 during our live stream around 8:30. I made 50, and then I got into another position, and I talked about it. Got back in at MSTZ at 10:31, sold at 10:66, locked in $87, right? The day before that, we locked in about 25, but I was down like $80 at one point, and I recovered it. Then on Wednesday, we made $65. On Tuesday, we only made 20. Oh no, that was in the morning. We made 20 and then we made 65. So some days we don't make a ton of money in the live stream, but then we can go back and we could trade. Because remember, I only live stream for like 30 minutes to an hour. But I have the whole day to trade, right? So I keep you guys alerted in our trade ideas. And then on Monday, we made $92. So I mean, we're up $270, right? At the moment for the week. We're up $360 last week. So it's all about just making sure that we stay profitable. This gentleman right here, he made $61 today. He sold his 75 shares at $11.50 of MSTZ, right at the high. On top of making $75 yesterday, I mean, he's already up a significant amount of money. This gentleman here, he sold 130 shares at $10.71, $103 in profit today. He did a fantastic job locking in profits. PDIE, he's up $171 this month, not counting the money he just locked in. So he's well over $200 for the month. And we're only the first week, and he's already up $200 in 1 week. So he's literally right there with me. If not, he's actually made more than me. No, he's right there with me. I'm up 270 this week. He's up around 200, if not more. This gentleman here, GoVols, he said, I'm up $296 profit in the first 4 days of March, thanks to Johnny and this group. And I told him, it's all you. That's all you, brother. I didn't make that money for him. He made it. But because he's part of this community and he's learning and he's listening to my thought process of why I buy, why I sell, he's starting to understand his own trade ideas. He's starting to understand what to identify and what to look for. And I'm so proud of him. I'm proud of all you guys for locking in profits. $300 in 4 days. Are you kidding me? Plus he just locked in, I think he just said another 103. So he's up $400. He's up $400. He's up more money than I am. The student becomes the master very quickly in our community. Very, very quickly. They're all doing a great job. PDIE, he made $85 this day that I made 65 bucks. And he's only trading with about $2,000. I'm only trading with, well, I started with 2,000. Now I'm up to 3,800, right? We just crossed over 3,790 and we made $8, so we're just shy of $3,800 in our account. G-Balls, another $88 profit. Like, these guys are winning on a daily basis, and I love to see it. So join. If you guys want to join the community, it's available. It's 100% free for right now. We have 750 members. Once we hit 1,000 members, all of my first 1,000 members, students, will get crossed over into a private paid community where people will have to pay to watch me trade these live streams. People will have to pay for my Learn to Earn Academy course that'll be coming out the end of this month. And you guys will get access to all that 100% free if you get in now. If you try to get in after 1,000 members, you'll have the free Discord. I'll give you some updates, some announcements, but you won't be able to see those live streams. So get in now. Lifetime access, 100% free for my first 1,000 members. And we already have 750 members. So it's important you guys get in now. I'm going to be watching Bitcoin for the pretty much rest of the day. We'll see if this pushes up. I'm setting my alerts. Again, we want to see lower lows if we want to short. And we want to see this pump up so that we get a better average on MSTZ. Bitcoin pushes up, MSTR will push up with it. Right now it's doing a great job, staying below this moving average, but it's only a matter of time. If QQQ continues to pump, right? Everyone thought it was bearish. Now it's looking bullish. So we'll see if this continues to push higher, or if we actually start seeing some more selling pressure, then we can get back into our MSTZ position. Other than that, that's really all I'm going to be looking at today. I'm happy we got to end it on a green day. You got to see me go from red to green, back to red for a second, and then to green. A couple of small little scalps that I did today, but nonetheless, I had a great day with you guys. We've been live for about 1 hour and 7 minutes, and I believe that's going to be where we end the live stream. I'll give you guys updates in the Discord when I see some movement or anything happening today. It is a weekend, so usually we like to travel and go out and do things with the family. So make sure you guys, it's a long week. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves. There's a lot of emotions when it comes to trading and making money, because we know we can also lose money. So make sure that you guys go outside, do something fun, do something good for yourself, buy yourself some new clothes, go for a walk, get some fresh air, make yourself some good food, or go buy some. Do something so you could relax, so that we could all be here fresh, bright, and recharged on Monday. I'll also be hosting our Sunday Stock Talk this week at 6 p.m. So make sure you guys attend. And we're going to go over the game plan for next week. We'll see where the markets open up for overnight trading on Sunday night and kind of get a bigger picture of the overall direction of the markets. So I appreciate your guys' time. Another successful week. Remember, let's all manage our risk. Risk management, it's important. It's like the second #1 topic I talk about on this channel is risk management. So manage your risk, control your emotion. If you're struggling with both, reduce your position size, trade with the smaller dollar amounts. Learn before you earn, right? Learn to earn. That's the name of this group. You have to learn, and then you can begin to earn. You're taking you from learning to earning. And that's what it's all about, guys. So I appreciate your time. Like always, remember, let's end the year on a green note. Smash that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a great day, team.